Hey everybody, welcome back to the Straight Line Podcast. This is the first episode for 2024, and I would just like to wish, I don't want to say Happy New Year and all that cliche bullshit. I'd rather prefer to say, may this year be a prosperous one for everybody involved in bike racing, and may our sport of bike racing grow from strength to strength. So, the reason why I'm doing this podcast today, South African Road Time Trial and Criterium Championships for our juniors, Elite and Under 23, and Mastermen. That will be happening up here in Johannesburg, well, more particularly the south of Johannesburg, the first week of February. We will start off with the Criterium, which is going to be on day one. Reading, if I'm looking at the timelines, I assume Wednesday, the 31st of January. The race will happen at the Meyerton Municipal Buildings. Looking at the circuit, it is a T-shaped circuit of 2.9 kilometers. A T-shaped circuit is not easy. Not easy in the sense that you got 3 180-degree turns every lap. And in that course, you've got a flowing left-hander and a flowing right-hander, but it's going to be those 3 180-degree turns. So if I look at the elite men are racing 45 minutes plus one lap. And if you work on an average of, let's call it 5 minutes a lap, it might be a little bit faster, a little bit quicker. You are looking at least 9 laps, between 9 and 10 laps for your race. And now if you're doing 3 stop and accelerate every lap, that's 30 sprints, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. I think, yeah, that'll wear anybody down. On a circuit like that, I think the most important part, the most critical part for any one of the bunches is going to be the first 5 to 10 minutes. If you're looking at a group, you're starting off 30 riders. 30 riders, if you, depending on the start, is it going to be a static start or is it going to be a rolling start? I mean, irrespective of which, you want to get yourself as close as possible to the start line. Because if on lap 1, you find yourself near the back, and the riders on the front decide, okay, now we're going to jam it into the corner, hit brakes and jam it out. Very quickly, you're going to find yourself 20 seconds behind like that, just by a silly positioning mistake. So yeah, the first 2 laps, critical. Warm up, obviously important. Know the riders you're dealing with. Gearing, I mean, it should be an obvious, get your gearing right. Coming into the corner, you're going to be coming from high speed, coming down to under 10k an hour and having to accelerate out the corner. You don't want to be stuck in your 53 or 54 or 55, whatever you choose to ride in the day, 11, 12 or 13 coming out that corner. Yeah, you're not going to do yourself any favors by doing that. The Criterium, I think this is the second year, correct? I could be wrong, a second year where Cycling South Africa have put on a elite race. This is the second year, I think, for juniors, and I say thank you to Cycling South Africa. Criterium racing it's going to form an integral part of international racing. Europe, it happens all the time. America, it's big. Australia, it's big. I don't know if any of you watched the Australian Criterium Champs that was on the weekend past. I mean, massive crowds, big event. I love the event. And then, I have to say, well done to Cycling South Africa for actually putting on a Masters category. I think this is the first time, that I can remember, that there's national Criterium Championships for Masters men and women. And hopefully in the years going forward, it can grow, and you can have a veterans men and a Masters men category. It's a first step, first time doing this, and I think it's a brave and good step forward, and I say thank you. Then we go on to day 2 and 3, which I expect to be Thursday, the 1st of Feb, and Friday, the 2nd of February. These are the time trial days. The time trials are going to start and finish a little dorpy called Daleside at a venue called Café de Cirque, commonly known as the Circus. Up here in Johannesburg or Gauteng area, we've had many provincial champs at that venue. There's been many mass participation events at that venue. So if you're up in Gauteng, I think a lot of riders will be familiar. Everyone knows where it is. It's just off the highway, real easy. Decent venue, enough space. Time trial circuits. there's four. There's a 15 kilometer, 22 kilometer, 33, and a 41 kilometer. All of those distances are going to go on an out and back format. The course was released Friday midday. I went out Saturday morning to have a look at the road surfaces and a bit of a closer look at the circuit. I mean, I've raced there hundreds of times, ridden there hundreds of times, but I just wanted to go and get a closer look at what we are dealing with. I think it's a very fast circuit, very constant. When I say constant, if you're on a flat section, you're on a flat section for an extended period. If the road goes up, it doesn't go up in varying elevations. It stays pretty consistent. And again, it's 1 kilometer it goes up for a drag, 1.5 kilometers, 500 meters. Not technical at all. You've got a right-hander, a left-hander, then a 180 degree bend. So depending on your distance, you're looking at either 2 turns with a 180 degree bend or 4 turns with a 180 degree bend. So technical, very, very low. But with that being said, it will have its own challenges. If the wind does blow on that day, I mean, I'm always going on about the damn wind. If the wind does blow, it can be difficult out there. But if the wind doesn't blow and it's a nice windless day, the times will be very, very, very quick. I think the big boys, a guy like Stefan de Bod, a circuit like that, he will go over 50k an hour average. I think that's definitely on the cards for him. Flat circuit, rolling circuit, rhythm circuit, and I think that'll do him good. When I go, close to the time, I'll touch on more, the types of riders who I think we can look out for in the various categories. But yeah, it's a type of course that's going to suit a strong rider, a rhythm rider, a guy who can get on that gear and hold it all the way through. I expect the speeds to be up there. All right, then we go on to day 4 and 5, which is going to be Saturday the 3rd and Sunday the 4th of February. Now, depending on your age, a large majority of the riders will be doing a full lap in Suikerbosrand Nature Reserve. I've been having a look at the maps. Basically, your junior men, your elite and under 23 men and women, your master men from 30 to 32, I think it's 50 to 54 was the last group that goes into the nature reserve. So a large percentage or a large chunk of the overall field will be going into Suikerbosrand Nature Reserve. Depending on your race distance, but all categories will start off by doing 1 lap of the John Bosco circuit. Again, if you live up in Johannesburg, everybody will know that circuit. Provincial champs, a lot of the mass participation event use that part of that circuit. Do your laps of the John Bosco circuit and then head out to Suikerbos. But what's different about this time is that we will come in on the Meyerton side and not on the Boksburg side, the main gate. We'll come into the Meyerton gate and then quickly turn right, and then we'll go all the way around the nature reserve. So that's gonna, years ago to mix up our training, we trained the opposite way around. It's a very hard circuit. Every time you go into Suikerbos, it's not easy in there at all. I think, and then this is just my opinion of it. They've taken us the opposite way around, maybe to avoid the descent. It's commonly called super tubes, because there's been a lot of guys over the years have got that corner horribly wrong and ended up in the bush. So we're going to be going up super tubes and then descending the conventional big climb. Talking to a couple of riders over the last couple of days, team managers, riders, there is a bit of a concern about going that way around, or actually going into Suikerbosrand. I mean, feeding. Will team cars be allowed to go into the reserve? Because it's a 60-kilometer lap. If you look at the elite men, their race will start at 10:15 on Sunday afternoon. They'll be entering the reserve after about 3.5 hours. So they will be going into the reserve at the hottest part of the day. And if there's no feeding from your team car for 60 kilometers in their racing, you're looking at, depending on how the race goes, but between an hour and a half and an hour and 45 minutes. An hour and a half, I think, might be a bit generous, but that's a long time to not have any service from a car. if there is an accident, what are the processes in place to try and get the injured riders out? Those roads in there are narrow. It's a great place to train. For racing, it's going to hold a whole host of challenges, but I assume that the technical side at Cycling South Africa have looked at all of that, and they do have processes in place to take care of any unfortunate incidences if they do happen. But I digress now. I'm going back onto the circuit. So you go anti-clockwise around Suikerbosrand, you exit the gate that you entered, you then turn right and you head back towards Daleside. The race will finish the way that the Max Steel race finished a couple of years ago, meaning that you'll be coming down the road with Alberton behind you and Vanderbijl Park in front of you. So the sprint is going to be nice and fast on a slight downhill, but I don't anticipate too many bunch sprints, given the nature of the race and where we are heading. I think you're going to have, some of the bunches will have riders that win by themselves, that come in solo, and then a couple of groups. I think the majority of the groups will have small groups sprinting for the finish line, because going to reserve is going to blow everybody up. So my take, the Bosco circuit, the Daleside circuit, very good. Suikerbosrand, if it goes well, it can go very well and it'll be a very good day. But the flip side of that is also true, and I hope that we don't have anything happening on the flip side of that option. But okay, that was my take or my thoughts on the South African Road Criterium and Time Trial Champs happening up here in Joburg. I'm going to be doing a couple of podcasts in the next week or two with the local pro teams, getting their take on the season, and just so you guys can get to know a little bit more about the riders, about the sponsors, what they are about. Just try and bring awareness of our sport of pro bike racing. All right, cool. Thanks for the listen, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Any comments, questions, please put them at the bottom. I'll see you guys in the coming days. Cheers. Bye.